Good morning and welcome from Road America as we are into the 60th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Sunoco. As we'd like to thank Mazda for making this broadcast possible. I'm John Phippen alongside Tom O'Gorman, and we're about ready to go racing with Super Touring Lite. Let's head right down to Hayward Wagner on pit side.
Good morning, gentlemen. Of course, the big story in Super Touring Lite is tied very much to the Spec Miata story of this week, and that is that your pole sitter, Danny Sane, involved in an incident in qualifying, had some injuries, and is recovering from those. Tom O'Gorman was able to speak with Danny earlier, I believe yesterday, and we're hoping Danny's feeling well and enjoying the show watching from Milwaukee. But that leaves a couple of Hondas to battle things out. Moser and Pena here up front. I was talking to Joe Moser. He said these cars are essentially identical with one significant difference. Actually, two. The first one is that Joe runs a 4.4 final drive where Pena runs a 4.9. So Joe may have a little bit more at the end of the straights. Pena might come off the corners a little bit stronger. The other difference is that these guys have gone in different directions on brakes. Pena's running on the Hawk pads. Moser is running on Carbotech. And each of them thinks that gives them a little bit of an advantage. And while these guys are going to be duking it out, keep an eye on that third car on grid, Mike Taylor. Mike was on pace for podium last year and just kind of ran out of car and tire towards the end of the race. Mike did say that he would gladly pack up, head home, just to let Danny come run this race. That's the kind of spirit and attitude we've heard down here on grid. One final note, I believe it's Chuck Hines, should be the fourth car on grid right now, currently a no-show. So we have a couple of cars here at the front of the field that are missing.
And again, our best wishes go out to Danny Stain, involved in that qualifying incident in Spec Miata earlier in the week. I think it was on Wednesday. Both he and Jim Drago still hospitalized after that, but our best wishes go out to the two of them. And again, Tomo, you had a chance to talk to Danny, so you can fill us in on that. But first, let's talk about our Mazda track map.
Yeah, this will be fun. These are really cool cars. You're allowed to do engine swaps within the make and model of the car. You can modify the aero. You can modify a lot of the suspension components, etc. So these are really cool production race cars. Coming down into turn 1 and out of turn 3, that could be where those gearing differences will absolutely show here in this first sector between those top two CRXs. Then we get down into the deep braking zone of turn 5. Most of these cars, a little bit older, are not going to be running anti-lock brakes. So that braking zone down into turn 5, but also turn 6, turn 8 are going to be a little bit more challenging than some of the other categories. Then a big high momentum run through turns 9 and 10. Aero kicks in almost flat out through the kink in these cars, but just not quite. And then a heavy braking zone one more time down into Canada Corner, up the hill through Billy Mitchell Bend, what we're taking a look at in the background there, beautifully up into the Sunrise through turn 13 and 14.
14, of course, leading on to the straightaway, as that's a 4-mile lap around Road America. As we are just waiting for the cars to roll off behind the Mazda safety car. But let's take a quick break and thank some of the folks that make this broadcast possible.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Oof, forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Hagerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Welcome back to Road America as the safety car from Mazda making its way out on track, and the field is in tow. Let's introduce the 18 starters. Actually, it'll now be 17, as Joe Mosier is your pole sitter. His second pole position, hard to believe, but his second pole position for the number 36 out of the Detroit region in his Honda CRX. As we mentioned, Danny Stain, who qualified in second, will not be making the start. Jose Osiris Pena, the number 199 out of the Puerto Rico region in his Honda CRX, will start second. Next up, Mike Taylor, the number 39 out of the Atlanta region in an Acura Integra. Chuck Hines, don't know if Chuck made it to the grid. Chuck would be in the number 57 in the North Carolina region in a Mazda MX-5. He won the Hawk Breakthrough Performer Award for making the most improvement between Tuesday and Wednesday qualifying. Max G, a former champion, winning in STU in 2017 in the number 22 out of the New Ohio region in his Honda Prelude. John Sewell in the number 48 out of the Florida region in an Acura Integra Type R. Car number 8 is Austin Hill, also from the Ohio Valley region in his Mazda MX-5. Next to him is Amy Mills, the number 37 out of the Northwest region in a Mazda Miata. Tom Van Veen is in car number 66, also from the Northwest region in a Honda Civic CX. A rookie to the runoffs, making his first start, Adam Sargis. That's the son of Steve Sargis in the number 18. He was the winner of the Sunoco 260 Tuesday. Got 15 gallons of Sunoco fuel for getting his qualifying time closest to .260 in Tuesday's qualifying in his Miata. Next up is the 42 of Sean Duncan from the Detroit region in a Honda Civic VX. Whitfield Gregg, veteran campaigner, in his 22nd runoff start. In the number 17 out of the New York region in a Mazda MX-5. John Elder in the number 21 out of the Land O'Lakes region in a Mazda Miata. Maxwell Kittleson is in car number 09 from Milwaukee in a Ford Focus SVT. Next up is Dan Harding in the number 79 from the New Ohio region in a Mazda Miata. And on the back row are two rookies making their first runoff starts. The 32 of Deacon Greenfield from the Washington, D.C. region in a Honda CRX. And the number 88 is Caleb Patriot out of Waukesha, Wisconsin in the Milwaukee region in a Mazda RX-8.
That's a driver we've seen in the SCCA Sim Racing when that is active. But I do want to just translate a message. The main thing when I talked to Danny Stain on the phone yesterday, he was in pretty good spirits, obviously still in the hospital there, but the main thing he wanted to say for us to get out is that they're just so grateful, all three of the drivers involved in that incident, for all the kind words from the SCCA family, the people who reach out and say, hey, hope you're doing okay, we're thinking of you, et cetera, et cetera. That's reached them. They're so grateful. I guarantee you Danny's watching this race right now. Would love to be right in between those two CRXs in his MX-5, and Chuck Hines not taking to the grid in his MX-5 means we're left with a bunch of Hondas up at the front.
Indeed. As we mentioned, Chuck McDudis was the other driver involved, and glad to say that Chuck is back here with us. So his recovery from that incident a little better. Unfortunately, Jim Drago, the other driver involved, still hospitalized along with Danny Stain. They got a long road to recovery ahead, is the word we've gotten from their teams, but they're in good spirits, and that's good to hear.
Love to see that Ford Focus SVT. Max Kittleson, just unique choices available here in STL. Obviously, the Hondas and the Mazdas have shown themselves to be the cookie cutter, if you want to call them that. Lots of variety within the cookie cutters, but it is the path you choose. But that number 09, a unique build, and then we obviously have that RX-8 out there as well, keeping things with a little bit of variety.
Joe Mosier, of course, the 5-time and defending champion of the class. Danny Stain won it 3 times as well, although he's not in the field. He and Joe Mosier picked by Sports Car to finish on the podium. Mosier picked to win. Mike Taylor picked by Sports Car to finish in the 3rd position, so we'll see how that shakes out. He's certainly in a good position to make that happen, 3rd or even better. Jose Osiris Pena from Miami, Florida, racing for the Puerto Rico region on the outside of row 1.
And the last thing to throw in here before we go racing, those top 2 cars separated in qualifying by less than 3/10. This should be a pretty good battle.
Yeah, in fact, 3 cars, the top 3 all under the old lap record, as we have broken a lot of lap records in the 26 classes racing here this weekend. Field's nicely formed up as they begin the long climb up the hill as the Mazda pace car pulls into the pit lane, turning the field over to Joe Mosier and Jose Osiris Pena. Pena on the outside, Mosier on the inside in the orange number 36. And there's the green. Mosier gets just a little bit of a jump. We'll see who's got the better top end speed. Watch Max G already making a move. I understand that that is the same car that Max won the STU championship in. He's just put a little smaller motor in it to be able to run it in Super Touring Lite.
This is a good start for Mike Taylor as well. Sweeps up underneath Max G. Look at Austin Hill. Big run around the outside using that Spec Miata / Spec MX-5 knowledge to come around the outside of John Sewell, but he doesn't quite have the motor. The Integra keeps the drag race fair down into turn 3.
Top 3 just as they qualified with Mosier, Pena, and Max Taylor. Max G right behind him in the 4 spot, side-by-side racing for 5th. As the 48 of Sewell trying to come back as he ducks down to the inside. Sewell with the advantage as he hangs on with Austin Hill just behind him.
Just a little bit of a 3-car breakaway. Mike Taylor is going to do everything he can to stay with these two. He was about a second slower in qualifying, but I talked to him and he said, I know there's more. This has been the smoothest week for Mike, knock on wood on my desk here, and he's absolutely looking racy in that Integra. So it's a pair of CRXs leading the Integra on a breakaway in front of that Prelude. Then Austin Hill, I think that car is essentially just a Spec MX-5. It's not maximized for this class. He's pushing everything it's worth, but he doesn't quite have the power to stay in front of John Sewell in that beautiful blue Integra.
Jose Pena shows the nose to our leader, Joe Mosier, in the run down the hill toward turn number 8, but falls back in single file as they make it through the carousel. Mosier's car hoisting that inside rear wheel off the pavement. Great battle there between the 81 of Austin,
Look at this move. Austin Hill trying to go around the long way at the exit of the carousel. It's not quite going to work as Sewell gets the throttle down and the Integra pulls ahead. But this is our top Mazda in the field. He's basically just in a Spec MX-5, and he's trying to take Amy Mills with him.
Austin Hill in his 5th runoff start already has 2 medals to his credit, as we've got a new leader as Pena has made his way around Joe Mosier.
We're watching that battle for 6th, and Pena must have gotten a heck of a run through the kink and overtaken Mosier there just even before Canada Corner. We noticed Mike Taylor was looking racy, and I said, hang on a second, that's a different CRX.
Exactly right. So Jose Osiris, or Osiris, I suppose, if you pronounce the Spanish correctly. Up to the top of the hill, but Mosier's car definitely strong in a straight line. He said he had a new motor package for this year, and he was feeling pretty confident that he had the run. And again, his car a little narrower, doesn't cut as big a hole through the air, and he's got the top end for sure.
Yeah, you can see he's going for the aero setup, fighting the wheel down into the apex of the corner. He's going to get pinched off just a little bit by Pena, flicking leaves out from underneath those cars in the autumn here at Road America. But Pena, you see he's got the side mirrors on that car. Mosier, no mirrors. They're inside the car. Everything about that car is designed to go fast in a straight line.
Great run off of turn number 3 as they dig under the Sargento Bridge and head down the hill toward turn 5. The Moraine Sweep, it's called. Mike Taylor dropping off the back of this battle. Here comes Mosier again, getting a good run. Pena doesn't fight him as he takes over the top spot once again.
Textbook outbraking maneuver down into turn 5 there. Again, no anti-lock brakes in either of these cars, so that was all mechanical and driver just maximizing the braking performance.
Out of 6 into 7. And then into the portion of the track they call hurry downs into turn number 8. As Joe Mosier, our pole sitter, retakes the top spot. So let's see, we'll follow this lead battle to see if there's a place either through the carousel where Pena has the advantage as we get a replay of this pass. As Joe Mosier pops out, just carries the momentum down the hill. Later on the brakes and makes the pass happen.
Hayward mentioned the difference in braking packages, mainly in brake pads. But I do wonder there, Joe Moser struggling in the kink. Pena sweeps back by him again. This is a great battle. We're on our 4th lead change here on the 2nd lap of STL, but Moser, better on the brakes, is going to go back to the inside. Pena makes it easy for him. Not fighting the issue too much, but we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, I was going to say now, but a little later on, that may be a different story. It looked to me, and it just as we cut away to the replay, it looked like Pena's car really working well through the carousel. I think that's where he gets the momentum, and so we'll see how that shakes out.
Look at Moser fighting the car.
Moser's hands really busy on the steering wheel as he's making his way out of Thunder Valley and down into turn 14.
These cars obviously from 1990 or so, and they're big old steering ratios on those Hondas. You can shrink the steering wheel, but it still makes it a lot of work. As Pena now has the draft, looks up to the inside, heads up another lead change.
But let's see, this is where Moser's car really comes into its own at the top end of the straightaway. But he's going to stay behind this time. Then Mike Taylor, then the battle behind is a good one. Max G and Zahn Sewell going after it. Sewell now up into that 4th position as Max G, the 2017 STU champion, falls back to 5th. And right behind them, Amy Mills to pick up the pieces if those two come to tears.
Yeah, it looks like these three have kind of found their footing. Austin Hill was racy from the start, but he doesn't have the raw pace. You see that red MX-5 just falling back just a bit, as we would expect. But Amy Mills is keeping both John Sewell and Max G honest, but Sewell's starting to run away from those two.
Here we go down the hill once again to turn 5. This time, Joe Moser not quite close enough to make that passing maneuver. He's going to try the over-under, however, as he gets alongside Pena as they climb the hill up to turn 6. Well, he takes the lead.
That was interesting. A great move. It's still not done. I think Pena's going to try to go to the outside. No, it's not going to quite work. Pena actually closed off the exit of turn 5 a little in anticipation of Moser doing that over-under, and I think it's what gave Moser the run.
Let's stay with these two as they make it through the carousel, because I have a sneaking suspicion that this is where Pena is making up a lot of ground. Moser, as you say, with that inside rear wheel off the ground. Pena, a much tidier line, able to save ground. It stays right on Moser's tail now as they come under the bridge. Let's see what happens at the kink, because the last couple of laps, Pena's been able to get alongside right there. Pena he straight lines the kink, and that's where he gets all of his momentum.
Yeah, Moser just has no confidence in the car in the kink. I'm noticing a little bit of a ride height difference, and that's about it. They have the same engine, the same minimum weight, but now again, Moser just so much more confident on the brakes. They're going to go door handle to door handle through Canada Corner, and now it's a drag race up to Billy Mitchell. I think Pena's going to get it. No, Moser's got the motor. It's still side by side.
Still side by side.
Oh, that was close.
That was way close, but Pena slots back into the lead now. And let's see if Moser can get the run up the hill and put the pressure on at the end of the straightaway as he has the last couple of laps. This battle going on about 2.5 seconds in front of Mike Taylor in the Integra.
And this is only the 3rd lap. This is the first time, though, that Pena has led across the finish line. Moser was scored as the leader both previous laps. So this is the first official lap led by Jose Pena. Mike Taylor's still in shot, so these guys battling just enough to keep Taylor in the fight. But if they get a couple of clear laps, we know they're just a little bit quicker.
You know, we talk about getting your elbows out. In Moser's case, his elbows are up around his chin all the time, man. He is just constantly working the wheel as he is driving the wheels off this thing.
Well, I have to wonder also if this point, with the 2.5 laps of battling, if Moser will be, the more savvy of the two and just say, you know what, you want to be in that front? I'm clearly not confident in a couple of spots on this track. I'm just going to follow you and build that confidence and then wait for my, opportunity. This race was one of the best races last year of the entire runoffs, and it's shaping up to look that way again.
Joe Moser, of course, taking the win at VIR last year for his 5th national championship gold medal. Jose Pena, in his 7th runoff appearance, has 3 third-place finishes to his credit, so looking for 1 or 2 better this time by.
It's been a lot of fun to watch Pena's development over the last couple years, commentating different classes, just kind of working the way forward, starting to get medals, now battling for the win in this class. It's been a lot of fun. There's a good shot of Mike Taylor in that Hong North Integra, running a nice lonely third, a peaceful third. And then it's a big gap back to now G has gotten back around John Sewell. This is going to be another great battle. We may not see too much because the front one's awesome, but this battle for fourth is solid.
Indeed. Max G now up into fourth spot. John Sewell in fifth. Amy Mills there at the back of the shot in the lead RX-7. RX-7 Mazda Miata, that's I should say. And then a little deeper back, the 42 of Sean Duncan and Max Kittleson. And right behind them is Whitfield Gregg in the number 17. That's the battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th. And Duncan has gotten around Kittleson since they crossed the stripe at the end of the last lap.
This is good stuff. The Focus has a little bit of a run on Duncan, but back to the front. I always love saying that. Back to the front. Pena leads another lap. No challenges really on this lap from Joe Moser, but he's keeping it right absolutely glued underneath. And take a look on the left side of the screen. That's Chuck Hines in the green MX-5 taken to the race as we have another change for the lead.
Moser takes over that position. Once again, that car really good at the very top end of the straightaway. Again, he's got it trimmed out. Down the hill to turn number 3. Joe Moser back in the lead.
Wow, look at the something going wrong with Moser's car. Maybe missed a shift for a moment there as Pena just powered right around the outside. That's not very common when the cars have the same engine.
Yeah.
But Pena goes right back around. Moser's seems fine now, but just a momentary pause there gave Pena the lead back.
Yeah, maybe, like I said, maybe missed a shift. Down into 5. Moser makes up just about all the ground he lost. Maybe a car length separating those two as they climb under the Corvette bridge into turn 6.
You can hear on throttle through the entire corner using the front drive and differentials to just pull these cars around the track. It's wild to drive one. You start to feed in the throttle and the car just carves exactly where you want it to go as long as you don't break that front traction. It's a very unique driving style to drive a well set up front wheel drive car, and these are some of the best that we have at the runoffs doing it.
Good look at Mike Taylor with that Union Jack on the hood. I don't believe that Integra was built in Great Britain.
His wife is British, though.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Let's watch for this fourth place battle. There's Max G, the 2017 champion. John Sewell right behind him in the Integra. Amy Mills dropping off the back of that battle just a bit. Max G and his dad, Sonny, of course, fixtures at my home track, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Max, one of the instructors in the Mid-Ohio School.
All these drivers running essentially their qualifying laps, so they're putting in their best lap after lap after lap with slight improvements relative to qualifying. They're just pushing for everything they've got, but G was able to hold the point, and now towards the front, Pena starting to run away from Moser a little bit, and it's not uncommon. You know, we hate to see it, but it's not uncommon for slight mechanical issues to influence these home-built, garage-built classes sometimes. I have to wonder if Moser either has a little bit of a problem, we saw that hiccup earlier, or if Pena's just got the pace. But last time by, neither were particularly fast. It was a 2:31.7 for Pena. They've been in the 2:30s. That time by, Joe Moser was in the 2:32. So they've dropped the pace kind of back towards what the third and fourth place cars are running.
So as we're approaching half distance, there's a lot of racing left to go. So this one's not over yet. And now we've got to change for fourth as Sewell was able to power by Max G on the straightaway and retake that fourth spot. So Max G in the prelude. We'll see if he can take that spot back.
Looks like the Integra is very healthy, but G keeping the prelude tucked in nicely on the draft all the way down towards turn 5 under the cheese bridge. Pops out for a breath of fresh air and a little bit of a sight line for the brake markers. The prelude a little bit better handling. Looks like he closes up under the apex just a bit. But watch the power of the Integra drive away just a bit up that hill.
Into turn 6 they come. It's battle for fourth position. Amy Mills just behind in 6th. Down And into turn 8, Max not close enough to make a challenge into that passing opportunity. Max able to hug that inside line through the carousel as Sewell's car a little bit wider, so Max saving ground. Gives him a good run coming under the Mission Foods bridge. Into the kink they come.
They're actually closing in on a local yellow for this reason here. This is the number 88 of Caleb Patry, who has a mechanical issue, a bit of smoke out of the hood of that RX-8. So unfortunate failure, but that's in a very safe spot. We'll likely see a local yellow for a lap or two and then back to green.
See the rotary logo on the back of Patry's car. Mosier a little closer here, so we'll see.
Yeah, they're settling into a nice pace this lap. For whatever happened last lap, maybe just a mistake or something, that we know that he did have that hiccup on the back straight, but Moser seems to be completely fine. We can speculate all we want, but the car seems healthy and is actually closing in just a little bit on the momentum run through turn 1 there.
You can see the leaves on the racetrack as fall is very much here in Wisconsin.
Yeah. You see Mosier kind of flirting with the curbs, and something you have to think about when you're coming into a championship race like this. Of course, the runoffs, one race takes it all. This track is very hard on cars. The curbing is very rough. There's a lot of runoff that you need to use to go fast. And I'm noticing neither of these drivers are particularly pushing the limits of that yet. Because these cars are 30 years old, you can't just hit every curb every lap and expect it to hold up 100%. So they're being a little bit cautious for now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see they start to extract a little bit more of the track towards the end of the race when a mechanical would be acceptable if it's not for the win.
The battle we're watching right now is the one for 7th and 8th. That's Tom Van Veen in the red Honda Civic hatchback and Adam Sargis in the white Miata. And Sargis has just taken over that 7th spot from Tom Van Veen. They've been battling for that spot throughout the course of the race. So Sargis, again, the son of the legendary Steve Sargis. But Van Veen's car looks to have a little more straight line speed, and he's able to just motor right by in the run down the hill into turn 5. But Van Veen goes way late on the brakes.
A little too much speed, huh?
Afraid so. And Sargis gets right back at him. But Van Veen maybe with a little horsepower advantage.
That's typically been the balance of STL here. We see, again, a lot of Honda, a lot of Mazda, and it's kind of what you would expect. The Mazdas tend to be the more handling cars, and the Hondas tend to have a little bit more power, if nothing else by the product of being front-wheel drive with a little bit less driveline loss. But it's not a surprise to see a Civic pass a Miata in a straight, and then the Miata pass it back in the turns.
Back to the front we go with Pena still leading Mosier, but Mosier's a lot closer than he was the last couple of laps, so he may be in recovery mode here.
Yeah, this is getting good. See Mosier tuck in again. We'll see if he's going to maybe get a run from even here. That's a great drafting spot. The gearing differences are very apparent on the hill. Look at how much extra pull Mosier has up the hill, clearly in a better power band. But then as they level out here towards the end of the straightaway, Pena brings it back.
Yeah, Mosier's been really good at the top end, and here he comes once again. Down to the inside, and they stay side by side through turn number 1. Still side by side over the Aaron's Tunnel. Down the hill toward turn 3. Mosier with the inside line. Should be able to make it happen. But Pena glued right to his bumper. This one is far from over as we're working race lap number 8 of the scheduled 13.
Mosier beautifully confident on the brakes on that car. Every time you just see very, very clean, smooth entries, despite the fact that he's making these passes, where Pena does not seem to be nearly as confident on entry. Look at that confidence. Mosier dives on the brakes, takes the line, and makes the corner no problem. But Pena is going to go for the over-under, a little bit of a straighter run. Shows the nose. He's going to be there.
Climbing the hill is Pena.
Backs out of it.
Yep, not quite able to make that pass stick, so Mosier hangs on to the lead for the moment. But as we have seen for multiple laps, if Pena can stay where he is right now, he is able to get back by Joe Mosier at the kink, which seems like a very strange place to make a pass. But Pena is able to straight line it as that car handling so well, and he's very confident. And Mosier's car uses up all of the racetrack.
Oh.
Oh, man.
If not in the right way, he starts to run a little bit wide on the apex there in the carousel, misses the banking that picks up there towards the inside of the track, and he's going to lose that momentum. This number 36 car is just struggling in the fastest sections of Road America, as Pena then takes the point once again right back around in the kink.
Mosier's going to try to hang tough on the outside. Can't quite make it happen. But he should have a good exit here, as Pena was a little defensive coming down into Canada as they blast through Thunder Valley and out of Bill Mitchell Bend toward the final turn on the racetrack.
Working about a dozen lead changes on lap 8 of 13. Ooh, that was a clunky hit on the curb. You saw the whole car just shudder. And those are the things that these cars can't just do forever. And you don't know how long it's going to last. It could be the first time you hit a curb. It could be next year's 13th lap of the runoffs when we come back. You know, it's just one of those risks that you have to choose if you're going to take.
You know, Hayward talked about in his grid walk about the gearing difference between these two, that Mosier geared a little more toward top end speed, Pena geared a little more toward torque off the corners, and that's showing what we're seeing as Pena was able to keep Mosier behind him in the run up the hill.
Oh, so this is good. Look at Mosier try to position the car so that Pena can't do that over/under that we're talking about. That car's so good at. Puts the car right in the spot that Pena was going to think about going. Ooh. And then there's side by side, I think, in the grass. Nope, we're good. No, the heavy braking. It's going to be Mosier again.
Mosier able to hang on to the lead as our cameraman struggling with the tripod there.
It's windy out there today.
Yeah, no kidding. Up the hill they come.
It's actually a good point. I hadn't looked up yet across the booth. It is very windy, and it's a tailwind down into turn 5 with the direction that's traveling. So that we're going to have to take a factor of that maybe for some of the other races. I don't know that these STL cars have enough aero for that, but if you get the tailwind just at the wrong time in a front-wheel drive car, you could certainly go for a bit of a ride.
Mosier trying to build up enough of a cushion that he can keep Pena behind him out of the carousel and into the kink, which is where Pena's car has been so strong.
That's the oddest line for Mosier through the carousel. It's working okay for him, but just using a lot of distance and then a very late exaggerated apex. Not a line you see used very often. And then here's where he seems to have confidence issues, not using a lot of the track. And I wonder if he's even just letting that be his weakness. You know, I don't need to dig that deep just yet for the kink, but I know I can pull that out when I do need it. Although I would imagine if he's got more in there, it's just not going to put it to use into the braking zone there. Pena is going to continue to lead up into Billy Mitchell.
Yep. Pena, though, compromised his exit, doing that a bit of defensive driving down into Canada corner, but Mosier not able to capitalize just yet, as he's going to take a little wider run into 14 to try to get that momentum up the hill. And this is where Pena's car, with that gearing change, maybe a little better drawing away, and on the last lap, that basically indicates Mosier's going to have to be in front of Pena if he's got a chance to beat him to the line.
Noticing both of the body language of these drivers is that they're hyper aware of each other. They're trying to make sure that each other don't have a place to go. They're racing in a way that's right here, showing the nose early. They're not just putting in laps. This is hardcore racing, and it's not going to work this time for Mosier. Usually he can keep that inside apex through turn 1, but this time he's going to have to slot back in. I don't think he's going to lead down into turn 5 this time.
Coming off of turn 3, we turn our attention back to the battle between John Sewell and Max G for 4th position. Sewell in that blue Integra, G in the white with green and orange stripes Honda Prelude. They have swapped that position multiple times over the course of the race.
Wow, I thought he wasn't going to get it, but Mosier gets back up underneath Pena down into turn 5. Pena goes for the over-under, but we saw him think better of this move last lap, and he does it again. Single file through turn 6, and then it's usually not until the kink that Pena gets the opportunity to come back at Joe Mosier. Mosier in the orange CRX back at the point. We're working closer to 20 lead changes at the front of STL, and a pair of CRXs very similar but not carbon copies. Pena looks to the inside just to fill the mirrors and is going to think better of it.
Just to show you how dominant these two are, this is going on 22 seconds in front of the 3rd place runner, Mike Taylor. So these two guys definitely the class of the field.
And with the draft down the back straight last time, Joe Moser cleared 134 miles an hour in that CRX. I don't think the speedometer originally went that high on that car, but it is today. Pena, let's see if he can find a little bit more again in the kink. Just turns in so much more confidently than Moser. Moser tries to block just a little bit, totally fair. Just in the middle of the track, Pena powers right back around every single lap.
Moser's going to stay strong on the brakes as Pena goes defensive into Canada. They're still side by side. On the last lap, that may be a position of contention, I'm guessing, as Moser is doing a little dress rehearsal here to see what he needs to do to offset that advantage that Pena has down through the kink to be in the front of the run up the hill.
Oh, so this is an earlier look at a pass. I think this lap, and Moser with a little bit of rear brake lockup tells you something about the brake bias on that car. When the rear locked first, he was able to keep it going straight, which is a really, really skillful piece of driving. But it wasn't able to hold on to the lead as Pena still gets back by. It must have been in turn 14 when we look for that replay, because Moser had just taken the position at turn 13. We take a look away for 5 seconds, and we get another one of those lead changes. Pena pulls away just a little bit down towards turn 3. There isn't even a pattern to this battle at this point. It's just changing positions back and forth.
Working race lap number 11, so 2 to go at the line. Pena with the lead, but once again, Moser. Oh, we got a car on its top.
This is a big incident for Amy Mills in turn 13. So this is driver's left coming out basically before the pit-in. And it looks to be only one car stopped over that way. Moving in the cockpit, that's good to see. And I'm sure this was an incident of running wide and maybe catching the dirt. Very, very odd spot.
It's hard to tell. That we can see some skid marks in the foreground in the access road here, and I don't know if she was responsible for any of that.
So here's an instant replay.
We've got a replay of this incident.
Mills running a little bit wide, loses the back. Oh, it's another hub failure. We just saw this in a previous race, a mechanical failure from the left rear of that car. Right rear. Pretty heavy impact into the concrete wall there, and then because the tire's off the car, it just pulls her over. So good to see no heavy impact with the rollover. It's never fun to end up on your roof, but man, that's what we were talking about with choosing to use the curbs and these cars just being a little bit older and a little bit more fragile.
Yeah, so that was, again, no fault of her own. That was a mechanical failure for sure, which pitched the car into a spin. And then because the wheel did not completely detach, it sort of acted as a lever when she got sideways coming off the wall. Then that's what spun it over on its top.
Well, that means we're full course yellow with 2 laps to go. And in this particular event, we have not seen a restart with a late caution in the race like this, which means Jose Pena, with all that duking it out, not being patient is going to pay off, or at least will likely pay off. We shouldn't say it's going to pay off yet, but Jose Pena in the lead over Joe Moser after the dueling. Last time across the line was 55 thousandths of a second, as we can see a really good look at how windy it is here today.
And the leaves blowing off onto the track.
Cool shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pictures here from our Apex broadcast crew. Thanks, gentlemen and ladies, for putting these images together for us. Let's take just a quick break while we're waiting for this full course yellow to resolve itself as we're working race lap 11 of the schedule 13. Let's hope for a green flag finish.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose.
1, 2,
We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.
Welcome back to the conclusion of this yellow race. As again, a full course yellow. And we could see Amy Mills coming out of the car.
Yeah, so we're coming back on what looks like a very ominous shot, what was a fairly harmless rollover due to a mechanical failure on the right rear of that Miata. You see Amy Mills waving and having to kind of do the scooch out of the car, but totally okay. And unfortunately, this is the main influence this has had, other than ruin Amy Mills' race and a couple extra dents on that car, is take away the potential opportunity for Joe Moser to bring the fight back to Jose Pena. You see those top two CRXs. Pena was at the front when this full course came out. We're working lap 12 of 13 with less than 10 minutes on the timer to go. So we hope for a green flag. We don't know if we're going to get one. Pena has the championship in his hands right now if we don't.
Yeah, exactly right. If we were just talking while we were in break, you know, just as we cut away from the lead battle to cover Amy's incident, Joe Moser had been able to lead Jose Pena out of turn 14 in the climb up the hill, and realizing that was probably his best opportunity for the win, because Pena's car is so strong coming up the hill out of turn 14 with that slightly different gearing. And at the line, they were separated by 55 thousandths of a second, with Pena with a nose ahead. And if we're not able to get the restart, that's going to be the margin of victory, if you will, for this race. So Joe Moser's opportunity for a 6th national championship may have been scotched by this late full course yellow, as he was still looking for that opportunity to find a way around it. But take nothing away from the great job that Jose Osiris Pena has done all weekend long in his 7th runoff appearance, looking for his first gold medal. We'll see if there's any chance they've got that incident clear and that we can go green for one more lap, but past experience this weekend has indicated that's unlikely.
Well, and as they clear the kink, we get word from race control. STL will finish under full course yellow behind the safety car. So that's it, folks. The racing is over, but it was a heck of a battle while we had it. It was 20+ lead changes back and forth with no pattern, just good straight up racing between two very similar CRXs, and a massive congratulations, a hugely impressive performance for Jose Pena over these last years to build up to that drive and battle with Joe Moser to earn the win in this way is spectacular, even if this way happens to be finishing under yellow.
Yeah, exactly right. He finished 3rd in the race a year ago. One of 3 third place finishes, bronze medal finishes for him. As this time the maroon Mazda safety car out in front of the field. As we can see the waving yellow flags here as they come out of Billy Mitchell, and I'm guessing that the recovery crew perhaps still at work, although it does appear to be clear. No, they're still there. They're just off to camera right. You can see the nose of the recovery vehicle. So we do have confirmation that this one unfortunately will finish under the yellow. I think we're going to see the white flag rather than the checker.
The only thing I can guess for the reason behind that is the flagger does have white in his hand, is technically The race is supposed to be a 13-lap race. We haven't hit the limit. And if something were to happen on this race, say a fuel issue, a mechanical issue of some wild circumstance, it would technically be a part of the race. They don't want to cut it early. So we will have to sit and watch another 5-minute lap before the checkered flag with no changes unless mechanicals happen. But this is technically extending, an extension of the race, part of the race, in fact, and that's part of the runoffs.
Yeah. And Chuck Hines, who was not able to make the start of the race, recovered for a 13th place finish, albeit multiple laps down, but good on him. In fact, we can see his car in the serial here, back about halfway. So, but Jose Osiris Pena, if he's able to keep it together for another 4 miles, stranger things have happened. I can't recall the last time we had a car drop out on a lap behind the safety car, but it certainly can happen. And so to make it official and to cover all 50 miles of this runoffs competition, the option is to bring them around behind the safety car for one final time, and then we'll get ready for the rest of the races on the day.
Let's talk about Mike Taylor. He got a podium position sealed up right now and his smoothest runoffs performance ever. If something happens now, just put me out. I'm sorry, but this is a spectacular finish.
Mike will take care of that for you.
Yeah. No, Tina will. And so Mike Taylor with a fantastic run. It was a quiet race for him, but really, really, really strong performance there for the driver out of Georgia. And another kind of semi-teammates there, John Sewell, very similar cars. Both of those drivers with a great run ahead of Max G. It's top 5 Hondas, top 6 Hondas, in fact, with Tom Van Veen getting that Civic CX hatch with the motor swap done in there, up into the 6th spot.
Yeah, and great job for Adam Sargis in the number 18 in his first runoffs appearance. Picked to be the winner of the Sunoco 260 Tuesday for having his qualifying time closest to .260. He gets 15 free gallons of Sunoco 260 fuel, a oxygenated, unleaded 100-octane fuel that is available at a gas pump near you.
Love the back bumper on Chuck Hines' car. Love you, Mom.
Yeah, good on him. Maxwell Kittleson in the 09 yellow Ford Focus, the 8th place finisher.
I had a scare for a moment because Pena's car is so small behind that Mazda. I was, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Don't tell me.
Whitfield Gregg, the most experienced driver as far as runoff starts, in his 23rd runoff start, notches another top 10 as he'll finish in 9th position. Dan Harding also running in his 20th or 19th, excuse me, runoffs. I think it's 20th because he was in an earlier race, so this would be his 20th runoff start. And is going to get a top 10 out of it, so good for Dan. By my unofficial reckoning, that's his first top 10 in 20 runoff starts. So tip of the hat. Chuck Hines saluting the workers and the crowd. And he loves his mom, so that's that's a great thing.
I've seen thanks workers back there. I've never seen love mom.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So to make it official, the Honda safety car will bring the field around to the checkered flag, and then we'll go around one more time before.
For good measure.
Yeah. Just because we can, and that will give Hayward Wagner an opportunity to prepare himself for the top 3 interviews of our podium finishers. You can see this is going to have to end this way because the recovery work on Amy's car, they have to get that car back on its wheels and then up onto the tilt bed to get it into the pit lane. So the recovery work, even though the safety crew here at Road America is some of the best in the business, Unfortunately, a little too much to ask with only 2 laps left. So let's make it official as the checkered flag in the hand of the starter, Jose Pena.
Fist pumping in the air, drops the clutch and tacks her up across the start-finish line to celebrate. That's fantastic.
On the rev limiter across the start-finish line. Good for him as Jose Pena finally breaks through with his first gold medal. Joe Mosier, a valiant battle all race long, finishing in the second spot. Mike Taylor with the Union Jack, honoring his bride, in third spot.
And this will be a popular win. We got a lot of Honda fans, a lot of Puerto Rico fans and family watching this race for Pena. Been, again, just a multi-year charge across multiple cars. You can see the emotion already. Just so excited in that car. And he knows he put on a show. These guys know they had a good race. And I know Moser is going to be a little bit disappointed, but ultimately just thrilled to have had a great battle, a good, clean battle, and have finished in the second spot with a great race.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Joe's, this is his 16th runoff, or 17th runoff start. He's had 5 gold medals, 3 second-place finishes. Interestingly, he's never finished third, but, you know, he leads this entire field with 8 collective medals over the course of his 17 starts, 11 top 10s. He's been fast qualifier twice. He set fast lap of the race 4 times. And he was and is, or was until now, the defending champion of this race.
Pena's not going to have a clutch or a rev limiter left by the end of this lap, but I don't think he cares.
Hopefully, yeah, at this point he can blow it up and it won't matter. His engine builder might not be happy, but. And it's really interesting. I mean, you know, Hayward talked about it, you know, and we mentioned it throughout the course of the race. These cars very, very similar, same motor, but the 2 differences, they opted for different brake package, and they opted for slightly different rear gearing, with Pena opting for a slightly shorter final drive to have a little better torque coming off the corners. Mosier going for top speed, the car trimmed out as we've talked about, you know, just as aerodynamic as possible. And he opted for a little taller gear, hoping for a little better speed at the end of these long straightaways. And as it turned out, Pena's solution was the better one on this day, at least for 11 laps it was. Could it have been for all 13? That's something we'll determine here next year, as the runoffs, of course, will be back here at America's National Park of Speed in 2025. The actual dates have not been announced yet, but we can assume it'll be about the first weekend in October. And great to be looking forward to another opportunity to see these cars stretch their legs at arguably America's best road course.
Well, and next year we'll certainly see some Mazdas try to upset the apple cart again, just due to circumstance. This year it was an all Honda battle for the podium, but next year will look very different. And it's not every time that you get 2 attempts at the same track for the runoffs. It moves around. It's usually not at the same track twice, but we did 2 years in a row at VIR, 2 years in a row here. It's feeling like a 2-chance pattern at this point, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly right. This is the 7th runoff run here at Road America, and so it'll be the 8th at the end of next year, and that is third only to Road Atlanta and Mid-Ohio for number of runoffs appearances. So Hayward, put down that cup of coffee. It's time for you to go to work here, as the safety car finally pulling into the pit lane, and our top 3 finishers will have a chance to talk to Hayward Wagner. As we can see, Amy Mills' car coming into the pit lane just in front of these drivers on the tilt bed. And tough end of the day for her. She was certainly well inside the top 10. But a mechanical failure with a wheel coming adrift at the exit of Thunder Valley put that car on its top. And Hayward Wagner, Johnny on the spot, Joe Mosier and Mike Taylor pull in right behind him. Jose getting the balaclava off. Let's send it down to Hayward Wagner.
Jose, I can't tell if you're out of breath from the drive or the celebration. How does it feel to win the runoffs?
Oh my God, everything that I dream of. First of all, how is Amy?
Amy's fine. Mechanical failure, very light incident.
Okay, oh man, it feels so good. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to my team, Nani Gibre, Eduardo Grau, Peluca Tuner, everybody here, the workers, everybody. Thank you so much. Danny, we miss you. You should be here, but I did what you tell me to do, so it's your.
Talk to me about this race. You and Joe ran door to door. It looked like you never touched. Tom was noticing that you guys were passing in places that are unconventional, unusual. What was the adrenaline? What was the stress level racing Joe that close?
So, my God, man, you're racing the national champion, and like you said, it was super stressful the whole way. We didn't touch at all. Like, he's really clean race. I knew from the back race, the previous race, that he was like that, so I was confident on that. And our car was straying in a little bit. His car was straying in another point. So, great race. Thank you so much.
If you could do it, would you go back and race to the flag, or are you perfectly happy to get it this way?
I will race to the flag. I think I had it. Thank you, my family, my kids, Nico, Lucas, Enzo, my wife, Sonia. Thank you so much for everything.
All right. Enjoy one more lap around Road America. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jose Osiris Pena, a very happy and very thankful winner. He is so relieved to finally break through and take that gold medal around his neck. Congratulations to Jose and his crew. And here's the top 10. We've run it down before, but just to make it official, Jose Osiris Pena taking his first gold medal. Joe Mosier on the podium in second spot after a valiant battle all race long. Mike Taylor finishing in kind of a lonely third spot. John Sewell and Max G swapped that fourth and fifth multiple times throughout the course of the race. Tom Van Veen and Adam Sargis did the same for sixth and seventh. Maxwell Kittleson finishing 8th, Whitfield Gregg in 9th, and Dan Harding coming by with his first top 10 in runoffs competition. Let's send it back down as we've got, I'm sure, a disappointed Joe Mosier.
Joe, the guys in the booth are guessing you might be a little bit disappointed, even if only because it didn't go to full distance. You guys raced real hard from the get-go. Did you just kind of have a feeling that it might come down to a full course and you needed to be leading as much as possible?
No, actually, well, first and foremost, congratulations to Jose. Hell of a competitor, good friend. He's got a King Motorsports 1.6 liter in there, so cars are dead even on power. We just have them set up a little different. No, I was actually setting him up for I knew where I needed to be on the last lap, and yeah, certainly disappointing to end on a double yellow, but he drove a hell of a race, and it's just, you got to be in the right place in the right time sometimes. So
I'm going to ask you about your poker game a little bit. The theory in the media room was you were giving up the kink so that you could have Canada every lap. Is that where it was?
No, I don't know if I have the yips and the kink or something. For those at home that don't watch racing that much, that high-speed corner with the walls, I just, I don't know what it is. I just don't want to go as fast as he does, and congrats to him. The car's only got 3 laps on it all week just because we thought we had a pretty good package, and I probably should have set it up for the kink a little better, but just where I'm at, and I felt like I had an advantage everywhere else. I set my car up very, very loose, and that's not conducive to the kink.
To say the least. Well, congratulations on the silver. An incredible race. Great sportsmanship, great driving.
Hey, thank you very much.
We're going to bring Mike Taylor on up. Mike, buddy, you have been waiting a long time for this interview. How does it feel to be on a runoffs podium?
9th time's a charm. What can I say? Oh, no, it's fantastic. And I got to thank Tina, my wife, and I wanted to give up so many times. I mean, you kind of know some of my history. I mean, this car, I wrecked the car the first race of the year, and Tina said, go build another car. So that car went from street car to racing in 4 weeks. So it was crazy. But yeah, it's, man, it's, you just keep plugging away, just every year make the car a little faster, make the driver a little faster. And, we've come a long way since our autocrossing days in Atlanta, haven't we?
We sure have. You alluded to it. I'll speak to it. You've had some incidents. You've had some bad luck over the years. This was a race where you kind of got into a space by yourself you could drive. Were you able to relax and enjoy it? Was it nerve-wracking? How did it feel?
Yeah, it was, you always worry about if you come off the pace too much, you're going to do something stupid, because you're not doing your normal routine. But after, I hung with them for a couple of laps, and then, but Joe and Jose, I mean, then they get together, they're pretty fast. So I just thought I'd, take care of the tires, and if something happened, maybe I could get back up to them and give them a run, because I can hang with them for a couple laps.
Well, congratulations to you, your first one off the podium.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks, Hayward. Some very happy podium finishers. We got to go as this one ran a little longer than we liked. Thanks again to Mazda for presenting this broadcast. We'll be with you next time. See you down the road.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Picture your perfect garage. How many cars are in there? Great, great. Now picture reality. How many cars can you actually have? Me too. With SCCA Club Spec, one car becomes your daily, your track car, your autocross car, even your time trials car. S197 Mustang if you like V8s and torque, NC Miata if you like compact and agile. SCCA Club Spec, spirited dailies, competitive race cars. Learn more at scca.com.